Lately, I feel like I've been showing Canada a lot of love, and for good reason, because there's some insanely innovative and really cool crypto companies that are based out of there. The next company that I want to look at today is called Hut8, based out of Toronto, Canada, which recently got listed to the NASDAQ. It trades under the ticker HUT on both the NASDAQ and the TSE. So, looking at Hut8, it was founded in 2011 and is extremely focused on primarily Bitcoin mining. And as you can imagine, this is a stock that is essentially correlated with the trajectory of Bitcoin. Hut8 hit a peak back in February of 2021, where it reached roughly $13 a share Canadian, and since then it has corrected back down to the $4 price range. And one of the main advantages that Hut8 has over other cryptocurrency mining companies is that they have a ton of computational power. And the reason that this is so important is because Hut8 will be able to collect the most amount of Bitcoin now while the price is still valuable. And later on, even if Bitcoin decides to drop even further and continue a massive correction, this is a company that will be able to stay online and keep mining, simply because of how much money is already being collected. And one of the main reasons that I love Hut8 so much is that they have a petahash rate of 1,000 per second. And for those of you who have no idea what I even just said, let me explain. Crypto miners mine crypto with highly powerful equipment and use them to solve extremely complex mathematical problems. And after solving these complex problems, miners then generate new Bitcoin, and in turn, also make the entire Bitcoin network more secure and reliable through having the transaction information verified. And to understand why the Bitcoin network becomes more secure and more reliable with every transaction, you can kind of think of it like Apple's Face ID to unlock an iPhone. The more data that the iPhone collects about how your face looks and how many attempts you've used to unlock the phone, the better and more sophisticated the face recognition software becomes. This might sound easy and straightforward, but in reality, there's obviously a lot of technical work going on before Bitcoin can actually be generated, and this is where the hash rate comes in. When mining, the power of the high-performance computers that are used to obtain Bitcoin is measured through a hash rate. This hash rate is defined as the speed or the total processing power of the Bitcoin network, as it represents the productivity and efficiency of the mining machine used. This mining hardware executes the computation to arrive in a valid block hash, which is defined as the identification number of a block, which is the record of all the computer files, information, and necessary data in the blockchain. A hash includes a block header at the top of the transaction's block. It has 64 characters composed of numbers and letters and provides the summary of the entire block, which includes details like the block's version, the previous block hash, and the time the miner tries to mine the actual block. So essentially, it records the entire history. And I won't go too much more in depth than this, but basically, all you need to know is that the hash rate is used to measure the speed of the machine that is actually used to mine. The higher the hash rate, the faster it is at mining. And Hut8 has an extremely high hash rate for the industry. So if Hut8's computational power wasn't enough to impress you, this is also a company that is using renewable green energy, which is honestly fantastic, as I believe this is where the cryptocurrency mining industry is headed. And just to keep everyone up to date, Hut8 has been growing their revenue immensely, even just in this year alone. In fact, CoinDesk released an article on June 28th with an update on their balance sheet. According to the article, Hut8 says it now holds approximately 3,806 Bitcoin on its balance sheet, compared with the 3,271 at the end of March. And if we peg this value to the current price of Bitcoin at the time of recording this video, they currently hold over $137 million USD of Bitcoin. which is roughly an $18.5 million jump since the end of March. HUT8 also expects the figure to grow to around 5,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. Listen to this.
We now have a 1.2 hexahash in production and ongoing installation of new equipment, which puts us on the near-term trajectory to produce an additional 2 to 3 Bitcoin per day by the end of August, on top of the current production rate of 6.2 to 7.3 Bitcoin per day.
CEO Jamie Leverton said, "That basically means that by the time August 2020 rolls around, HUT8 will be mining about 10 Bitcoin per day." And just for reference, if we look at their balance sheet, which of course still needs to be updated to reflect their Q1 of 2021 results, we can see that since Q4 of 2020, HUT8 has a pretty solid looking balance sheet, as their current assets outweigh their current debt by a factor of 4 to 1, which is extremely impressive given that HUT8 is still, relatively speaking, a younger company. So overall, this is a company that I'm extremely bullish on, as they're definitely headed in the right direction. And like I mentioned, they're consistently growing their revenue. They're based in Canada, which of course, this company not only has positive relations with their government, but also has an edge on their competition because of their colder climates and the abundance of green and wind energy to power their mining rigs. And if the cryptocurrency markets continue to grow over the coming years, there's no way this company couldn't not do well. So in total, I say this company is a definite buy, especially if you want to give your stock portfolio some diversity with crypto assets. In fact, I would go as far to say that I would be absolutely shocked if we didn't continue to see this company grow. And yeah, that's the video I've got for you guys today. Thanks to everyone as usual, and I honestly appreciate every single one of you who watches my videos. It means a lot. Take care.